Peace, Deep Minds. 255 here. And today I want to discuss what I think is the best part of the Final Fantasy VII ending and remake. And I also want to discuss why it's my favorite. Alright, without further ado, here it is. In case you haven't figured it out yet, yes, it is Zack being alive. Zack could be a second main character in Final Fantasy VII. He's good enough to fit into the cast. He was good enough to get his own game in Crisis Core. Zack represents a new beginning for Final Fantasy VII. Second, it came as such a huge surprise. I don't think anyone expected to see this. No one talked about the remake having Zack being alive, but that's what Tetsuya Nomura and the rest of the crew decided to do. Or so we think. We honestly don't know if Zack is actually alive, but there's a lot of evidence pointing toward it. Third reason why I think Zack being alive is great is because it's going to bring more sales to Final Fantasy Remake Part 2. Look, Crisis Core was inching toward about 2 million in 2008. Zack has a huge following, so it's likely that that crowd, seeing that Zack's alive, is going to come over there. And if Final Fantasy VII Remake makes more money, that means more Final Fantasy VII for us to enjoy. However, with all that being said, there is one problem. As much as I love Zack being alive, the developers now have to use Zack being alive to make a story as good or better than the original Final Fantasy VII. And I'm honestly not sure how they're going to do that. That was one of my critiques with the ending in the first place. How do you surpass Final Fantasy VII? It's your greatest project. Now, something they could do is deeply explore the relationship between Cloud and Zack. They could add some really cool gameplay mechanics where Zack and Cloud have a limit break together. Maybe something to call like Final Soldier, where they do like a double Omni Slash or something like that. Square's pretty creative, so my hopes for the future are good. And I think another thing that touched me here was the brotherhood, the camaraderie of seeing Final Fantasy VII companions together. We didn't get to learn too much about Zack and Cloud's backstory in the original Final Fantasy VII. Crisis Core was what it was, but it wasn't a mainline game, so a lot of people didn't even get to play the game. They viewed it by YouTube or something like that. But I would love to see this brotherhood between Cloud and Zack blossom more.